My name is Dustin Ballew, and I walked halfway across the United States of America. I took a bus from Durant, Oklahoma to Washington, D.C. I left here on the bus on September 23rd, got up there 2 days later. When I left D.C., I didn't really have a set route that I wanted to take. There's a hiking trail up there, biking trail. It's called the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. I followed that for 100 miles to Williamsport, Maryland, at which point I got off onto the highways. I started on Highway 50, going down through the Virginias. I decided to turn north when I experienced some trouble on Highway 50. I got on Highway 40. I followed Highway 40 through up into Pennsylvania, through the tip of West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana. I followed it all the way to St. Louis. I got on Route 66, followed that all the way from St. Louis to Veneta, Oklahoma, at which point I got on Highway 69, came back home. What was life like on the road? Well, it was completely different to everything I had known previously. I've lived in Durant, Oklahoma my entire life. I'm 26. I was 24 when I did this. Like I said, I lived in Durant my entire life. I had never really been camping, never really been away, never really been on my own for any extended period of time. And so I got to D.C., it was a completely different experience. I had nobody to rely on. When I got to D.C., I felt like I was on my way to, the electric chair or something. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was just great. Something, you'd wake up every morning and it'd be something different. You'd never see the same sight every day. That appealed to me a whole lot, and it's something you get so used to it. It's kind of like an addiction, honestly, and it, the whole experience, it's got me severely interested in hiking.
All right.
I get a lot of questions about how I managed day to day with regards to, the necessities of life or where I stayed. While I was on that hiking trail, the C&O Canal, they have campsites set up every 5-10 miles. I had a small one-man tent that I bought before I left. I camped in that basically the whole way back to Durant, Oklahoma. When I got off onto the highways, most of the time I would stay the night in between towns. I wouldn't stop directly in a town at night. If I was in between towns, I would just find some, wooded area, or, I'd sleep under a bridge. If I was in town, usually I would find a church, set up my tent and, around the church, stay there. Food-wise, it was pretty difficult. In the more desolate areas I traveled through, I had to carry a lot of food. That consisted of, granola bars, beef jerky, powdered milk, stuff like that. When I got onto the highways, it was easier. I would usually go through a town every day where I could stop, eat fast food. I set a budget, $10 a day, and quite a few times I went over, especially as I got closer to home, because, I was hungry. These are actually the shoes that I walked in. Yes, only one pair. It was very foolish of me. In hindsight, I should have replaced my shoes by the time I got to St. Louis or so. But I decided, why not try to make it in one pair back home? My feet were hurting quite a bit by the time I got back. These are Rockport shoes. They make excellent shoes. But anyway, the whole journey was about 1,450 miles, and these were brand new when I left. As you can see, they're worn quite thin. The soles are. There are places, I could put my finger through them quite easily if I wanted to. The number one question I get about this is, well, why did you do it? So often when I was walking, people would ask me and I would tell them, and they would look at me like I was insane. The reason I did this, it's very hard for me to answer, but I lost my grandfather in late 2005. He was really the only role model I had growing up, and so I went through a very, very difficult period, after I lost him. I got to thinking a lot about life, about society, and about how I thought society was slightly backwards, to say the least. It seemed like everything around me conflicted with my ideals, and so I needed some time to reflect on what I believed in, who I thought I was. It's very existential, I guess you would say. So I needed some time to think about things, and I definitely had it.